Hello everyone. I realize I've been making a lot of videos for me lately, but I've just been in a mood, and I've been thinking a lot lately and been hearing people talk a lot lately about colored vinyl. Everybody wants to see your colored vinyl, and colored vinyl is cool, and colored vinyl is awesome. But the thing that I was thinking about is how much is available on colored vinyl now compared to back when records, everybody was listening to records before CDs and even early CDs, and through the very early 90s, colored vinyl was around, but it was hard to get, and the pressings were much smaller than they are. Not smaller than they are now, because now they're really small, but compared to the amount of normal vinyl that they press on most records, colored vinyl, if they pressed any at all, were usually small runs, and it just wasn't common like it is now. Now sometimes it's harder to find a non-colored vinyl album than it is to find a colored vinyl album. So, thinking along those terms, I thought I would make a video of more vintage colored vinyl. Now this stuff isn't vintage. It goes into the mid-90s probably, but there's nothing I'm showing that's pressed past the year 2000, when the vinyl resurgence slightly started. So I'm going to be showing you, I don't know, 30 some albums probably. I'll try to do it quickly, of albums. Some are interesting, some aren't, but more vintage compared to now vinyl. So I won't be showing any new vinyl, just older stuff. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to go sort of in reverse chronological order-ish. So I'm going to start off with the Nixons and an album called Foma. And Foma is pressed on clear vinyl. You can see right through that bad boy. And that record was really, really cheap. Now I'm just going to slide them back without putting them in the sleeves. That'll be too much trouble. And there you go. That's probably about the newest one I got that's not a brand new record. This I think I've showed before, but I love it and I'm going to show it again. It's the first album by the Posies. It is an original pressing. It is autographed by John Auer and Ken Stringfellow there on the cover. And it is indeed on Pop Llama Records, pressed on translucent blue vinyl. And this is like one of my treasures. I just love this album to pieces. I was so happy to get that. I got it online and it wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be. Next up we've got the Knickerbockers. The Great Lost Knickerbockers. This is sort of rarities and stuff that never made it to vinyl that the Knickerbockers put out. Well, Sundays put it out in the late 80s, I believe. There's a great demo of their classic hit Lies on this album. And this album is on blue vinyl as well. Translucent blue, but not as translucent as the Posies album. And again, it is on Sundays Records. Get that back in there. This is an interesting set put out by Ace of Hearts Records. It has no title, no nothing. It's just in a pink box. It's just sort of the Ace of Hearts sampler. And I have one of the records right here. It's a double record. Actually, it's New Rose Records. Ace of Hearts was affiliated with New Rose. And it's on pink vinyl. It's called La Vie en Rose, this album. It came out in 1985. It's a 2-record set. There's some cool stuff on there. The Replacements' 20th Century Boy is on there. Their Mark Bolan cover. There's a Liars song on there. Some Louis Alexander. It's a pretty cool album. I love this. Rhino put this out sometime in the mid to late 80s. Va 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 Voom. Screen starlets sing, basically. Screen sirens sing. You've got Mamie Van Doren, Marilyn Monroe, Deanna Dores, Sophia Loren is on here, and Margaret is on here. And this is a 2-record set as well. And of course, you couldn't do such Screen Sirens without doing it on pink vinyl, pink marbled vinyl. I don't know how well that's coming through, but I love this record as well. It's just so cool. And now it's not going to want to go back in. There you go. My favorite band in the whole world, and one of my favorite records in the whole world, Big Star, their Radio City album. This is a mid to late 80s press on Line Records. It's a German import, and it is on immaculate white vinyl. And again, I just love this record, and it sounds amazing. That's the other thing people have been talking about, is does colored vinyl sound good? From what I've always heard, black vinyl scraps and they melt old records down and it just goes back into a vault, into the bin. They can't do that with colored vinyl. So colored vinyl should actually sound better than black vinyl because it should be virgin vinyl. That's what I've always heard. Don't know if that's true. Alex Chilton, speaking of Big Star, one of my favorite people in the whole world, the late great, live in London. This copy is majorly water damaged, the cover. I had a choice when I bought this of a regular version with a really nice cover or this water damaged version. They're the same price, but on white vinyl, on Line Records. I took the water damage cover on. I can get another cover easier than I can get a white vinyl record. So I did that. This I just got very recently, and it was under $10. Kate Bush, The Hounds of Love. This is an original pressing from 1985, and it is on gray marbled vinyl. Can you see that? It's really, really cool. And again, it wasn't expensive at all. Love that. Ringo Starr and his all-star band, his first Ringo Starr and his all-star band live album. This isn't rare, at least it didn't used to be. And I don't know if they all are, but many, many, many of them were pressed on Rykodisc on clear vinyl. See right through that puppy. These days, I don't know, maybe this is getting rare. I do not know. I've shown this, but I'm going to show it again really quick because I'm so happy to have it. Paul McCartney, the McCartney sampler from the Tug of War LP. Everything is in black and white, including the black Columbia label and the white vinyl that is pressed on. I was so happy to get that. That was definitely on my want list. A promo-only EP by the Ruddles. It's got I Must Be in Love, Double Back Alley, With a Girl Like You, Another Day, and Let's Be Natural, of course, from the Ruddles album, the film, All You Need Is Cash. And this is pressed on very translucent orange, and in fact, the solo music on it, you can see right through most of it. It's a very, very cool thing. This used to be pretty common too, don't know if it still is. Prince and the Revolution, the Purple Rain 12-inch 45. And of course, what else could it be pressed on but purple wax? Ooh, there you go there. And again, there used to be a lot of those around. Don't know if there still is or not. And this puppy is not going to want to go back in this sleeve. My least favorite part about doing these videos is that part right there. Okay. Me, Mr. Mayo, you may be interested in this. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, a 12-inch remix version of Cherry Bomb, backed with Bombs Away, which is sort of an instrumental dub mix of Cherry Bomb. And it is on some really nice translucent red vinyl. Looking pink there in the camera, but it's not. It's very bright red. There we go. Put that in the sleeve later. This isn't much to look at. Mercury Poisoning, Graham Parker and the Rumor. There's the label. I know it's sideways, but blank on the other side. Just came in a white sleeve. Unfortunately, this thing is poppy Poppy, 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 and that's a shame because it is pressed on really cool gray vinyl. I was disappointed when I put it on and it snap, crackle, pop. Even for a guy with a podcast called the Snap, Crackle, Pop Vinyl Hour, you can still be disappointed if there's too many snap, crackles, and pops. This used to be all over the place too when I was a lot younger. Big Red Music, it's on Columbia Records. It's a promo of some of their new bands, including Jules and the Polar Bears, Any Money, and the Boomtown Rats are on here. And of course something called Big Red Music would be on a white label promo on red vinyl. Again, like the Joan Jett, it's actually really red even though it's showing up pink on camera. She used to be around too a lot. An album called No Wave. A few good people on here. The Police is on here. The Squeeze is on here. The Dickies are on here. The Stranglers are on here. Joe Jackson is on there. And that is on some translucent blue vinyl. It's pretty cool. Another promo item. Elvis Costello and the Attractions, Mink DeVille and Nick Lowe are on this. Just came in a white sleeve from Columbia Records. Mine is, cover is not great. The vinyl is pretty nice though. It is on translucent orange vinyl. Again, it's looking pink, but it's not. This is very much translucent orange. This is kind of cool. Here's Egg on Your Face. It's an 8-track promo from Easter Records. It's British. I actually got this on eBay and it was pretty cheap. And it comes on this really dark maroon marbled vinyl. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's really, really cool. And it's got... its highlight would have to be Take the Skinheads Bowling. That's on there. Elvis, I'm sure you have this, me, Mr. Mayo. Always on my mind. This is a mid-70s album, I would get. Early 80s, excuse me. An early 80s album. This is probably the last of my 80s stuff. Late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. And they pressed this on translucent purple vinyl. Again, don't think they all were on this one, but I think there was a lot. I don't think it was not common. This is common. This is the most common colored vinyl album you can probably find. Elvis, Moody Blue. This album is worth much, much more on black vinyl. But I'll just show it. I got this at a thrift store for 40 cents, so how rare can it be? There you go. Everybody's seen that. Everybody should have one. It's not a rare record at all. This, however, is the Stiffs, live Stiffs on Stiff Records. Of course, Nick Lowe, Elvis Costello, two of the people on here, Ian Dury and the Blockheads, Reckless Eric. It's a pretty good live album. Mine is a white label promo copy on blue vinyl. And I remember when I bought this back around 1999, 2000, 1998, somewhere in there. I think I paid $4 or $5 for it. Pretty good buy. This is another thrift store buy, 40 cents. Synergy Chords, a revolutionary transparent recording. It's Synergy, the album Chords, and it is a gatefold. There you go. And it is on Passport Records on clear vinyl. And again, thrift store find, 40 cents for that. This is another one of the treasures from my collection. I've been looking for a colored vinyl version of this for a long time. Tony OK, Life in the Food Chain. If you've never heard this album, it's fantastic. There's about 25 people in this band, and it just rocks. And I'd seen promo copy on green vinyl a long time ago. Came out on Epic Records. But I'd never seen one on this sort of gold marbled vinyl that I found it on, and I was just really stoked to get this. And again, not very expensive, and it was, at the time, this was a grail for me. I just love that record. Had this record forever. The Dickies, the incredible Shrinking Dickies, one of the best album titles ever come up with by man. And as the album cover says, this record is yellow, and oh yes it is. You can't really get any more yellower than that. The Dickies. A 4-song EP by the Buzzcocks. Actually, it's a 6-song EP by the Buzzcocks. On translucent red vinyl. Again, it looks pink. It's red. It's the Buzzcocks Are Everything EP. It's a promo, not for sale. And I've had that laying around forever as well. Another album that used to be fairly common. The first album by Squeeze, then called UK Squeeze. And a lot of copies, but not all, were on red vinyl. Again, I know it looks pink. It's red. You gotta trust me on that. We're getting down there. We got some more though. I love this too. The Stranglers, the black and white album. And of course, being the black and white album, it is on some really cool gray marbled vinyl. It's got a black side and a white side. And this is really cool. And I remember when I bought this at a local record store, it was like $3. I couldn't believe it. I just, yep, buying that. Jonah Louie, a guy I could never get into. One of the few people on Stiff Records I could never get into. But again, this was a pretty cheap record. And it's on really cool orange vinyl on Stiff Records. Rachel Sweet. I saw two of these at two different record stores recently. They both wanted about the same price. I was like, I've never seen this before, and all of a sudden there's two. Rachel Sweet, her very first album, and it is on really heavy, actually, white vinyl, again from Stiff Records. Awesome. This may be the prettiest vinyl I have. Unfortunately, it's the Temple City Kazoo Orchestra. This is a very early Rhino record, and these are getting fairly rare. They used to be slightly common, not so much anymore. But take a look at this vinyl. I mean, I know my camera isn't doing it justice, but this is some really cool vinyl. Trust me, it's sort of yellow with all these splatter colors in it. Just, as far as colored vinyl, it rocks. I think I've shown this before. The second Nas album, Nas, and we're back in the 60s now, by the way, and on translucent red vinyl. Again, I know it looks pink, but it's not. It's red, and it's not in the best shape in the world, but again, I paid very little money for that. So that's kind of awesome. These used to be around all over the place too. The Turtles, Happy Together, She'd Rather Be With Me. It's a Taiwanese record. The outer sleeve is the sleeve. This plastic shrink is part of the record. And it's on orange vinyl. Again, everything looks pink tonight for some reason, but this is orange vinyl. And it's a pretty cool record. If I can figure out how to get it back in the sleeve. I didn't go away, I'm right here. Okay, this I've showed before too, but I love this. It's a Japanese, original, I believe, Japanese record from sometime in the early 60s, I'm guessing. It's on Capitol, it's in stereo, the cover is really glossy. It's got flip backs on the back. Everything is written in Japanese. It's a very cool. It's got a Japanese inner sleeve. Both sides, everything is in Japanese. And it even has a flip top on the inner sleeve. And you pull it out, and there is some really Try to flip the label up right. Really, really cool red, dark red translucent vinyl. And I love this, and I didn't pay much for that either. And I just love it. I bought it because it was on red vinyl. It's Japanese, and Japanese red vinyl is really, really good stuff. Let's All Sing with the Chipmunks. This might be their first album, I'm not sure, and I may have showed this before too. It's got sort of a foily kind of cover on the front. There's a little drawing of David Seville. There's the back cover. I haven't been showing many back covers, but for a kid's record from the very early 60s or very late 50s, it's in really good shape, and again, it is on translucent red vinyl. And I just love this thing, and again, a couple of bucks, not cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. I'm down to my last two. This I know I showed before too. This is on Topps record. It's the Stereo Spectacular Demonstration album, and it's got a hole right there. It probably didn't even come with an inner sleeve where the record shows through. And it is on yellow vinyl, very, very translucent yellow vinyl. And one more to go, and I saved one of the coolest looking vinyls for last. It's another Topps record. It's got the thing right here where the vinyl would have shown through. This is the Ink Spots, and I think it's sort of a greatest hits. It's some sort of compilation. But check this vinyl out. This is sort of a yellowish, orangish, swirling, really translucent, really, really awesome vinyl. And this is, again, is very, very old, late 50s or very early 60s at the latest. And it's just really cool vinyl. Well, I'll just throw it in there. That about does it for my colored vinyl. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and show what I had, and put your thoughts in about colored vinyl, whether you think it's good, bad, cool. I don't know. But before I go, I want to do a few shout outs like I always do. BeetleCat1 is my latest subscriber. Thank you, BeetleCat. And also, of course, I want to do a shout out to Retro2, Mr. Dean. I just saw your latest video, cracked me up. You are a funny man. Check out his channel. And me and Mr. Mayo just saw your Grail videos. Amazing. Check those out as well. As well as Robert Z. Thank you again for subscribing. You're a pillar in the community. Dixieland Farm, same with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You leave comments and I never respond to them, and I'm sorry about that, and maybe someday I'll get a minute to do that. And Sean and Austin and Paniques, and I know there's so many more. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you for watching this video, and check out my podcast. I have to put that in there, snapcracklepop.podomatic.com. I just did my 100th episode and had a really good week with that. So thank you all if you listened to that. And thanks for watching this. Like and subscribe. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.